Mm.
Now, there are many that is fascinating about that. Because, first of all, we see that this angel, who is an angel of revelation, what he marks his identity by is that he stands in the presence of God. In the presence of God is where we get revelation. In the presence of God is where we are equipped with wisdom and knowledge and understanding. It is in the presence of God. But then I love the fact that he says, I stand in the presence of God. You see, God's presence is not a location. At that moment, the angel was not in the throne room. He was with Zechariah. The presence of God is about our posture. That everything I do flows from who God is. You see, in his response to Zechariah questioning, how shall this be? He says, I stand in the presence of God. I flow from the essence of who God is. And so if I'm saying this to you, that it cannot be a lie. That was so powerful to me. Because you see, family, it is our posture before God. That everything we do should flow from who God is. And when I say keep it in God's presence, is that you cannot seek things like Google, because we have a dream and we just go to Google. And we don't even know who is behind the interpretation of the symbolisms that we're dreaming about. We just see random apps, and I mean not random apps, but random articles, and we're like, oh, they have an interpretation. But what is the spirit behind that interpretation? Is it the Spirit of God, or is it something else? That everything we do must flow in his presence. When we bring our dreams and the visions and the things that God has put in our heart in his presence before him, to say, God, show me, that is where revelation takes place. That is where things begin to be revealed to us. You see, God, that even forgotten dreams are nothing to play with. When you wake up and you recognize that you had a dream, but you forgot the dream and you just go about your day, that is a weapon. And oftentimes, forgotten dreams is a sign that there's intimacy between you and God. That your intimacy is not as strong as it used to be. And it's a call to say, come back to your first love. Because when God is giving you a dream and is giving you a word through a dream, that one message can change the rest of your life. There are dreams that have shaped my life. In dreams I've encountered the Lord. In dreams, my first book actually, I received the instruction, the name, and the impartation to write the book in a dream. It is through dreams that, amazing things have happened. Instructions from the Lord has been given to me through dreams. And so imagine if there was a dream that I had, and it held everybody, and I woke up, forgot it, and just went about my day.
For watching.
You know, one day, funny enough, I remember that I woke up from this dream, and I knew I had this dream, and I knew that it was important. And the moment I woke up, the first thing I did was to worship.
So I am very happy that
this mystery, because there was something you showed me. I need to know what that is. And when I began to worship, all of us, the memory of that dream started coming back to me. And family, what came as the result of that? My mind. And so when
that's cool. You can see Sarah.
And you go about your day.
She's my favorite
That is a weapon being formed against you to think that that is okay. Because if the Lord is speaking
Her name is Sarah J. Roberts.
You have missed a moment of alignment with God. And it's not that we can complain and say, God, but what's happening?
I watch her every morning.
To find a channel.
If you have not subscribed to my channel,
but you are not perceiving my
if
words.
you could subscribe
you see, some of the things that we sometimes struggle with is that how do I know a dream is from God? How do I know it's a spiritual dream or it's a natural dream? There are times that maybe you will meet a friend, or you will talk about an event or something like that, and all of a sudden that night you dream about it, and then you cancel it out because you're like, oh no, this is probably natural because we just talked about this. Because you spoke about it, that you had capacity to see more into it, and that the Lord was
my phone.
Could it be that the dreams that you get are random, actually conceal that there's a message?
Hang on to it.
You see, I would rather, even if it's a pizza dream, I
I
would rather
think
bring
I
it before
got
the Lord. And in His presence, let the Holy Spirit tell me that this is nothing to worry about, than to conclude on my natural understanding.
cool.
You see, for example, there was a dream I
So
had, and
me,
I'll share it with you
elephant hanging
because when
on
you
to
hear
my
it, it sounds random.
phone. So,
I was in this high-rise building,
but anyway.
and when I looked out the window, there was water everywhere. It was literally like a flood on the earth. And in the dream, I was aware of
Listen to
myself.
my
And so
the
I'm a bit
church
perplexed because I'm like, God,
name
your word says that there will be no flood. The whole thing about the rainbow, did you forget?
and what?
But I'm seeing water, and I understood that this water covered the earth. And then all of a sudden, I see dolphins, and they're playing, and they're having a good time, swallow time. Now, to someone, this could be random. Why is there water? And why are there dolphins?
Let me take it.
But when I came out, I began to, Lord, what does this? What are you speaking to me about? And then when the Lord began to reveal it to me, first of all, the water, because I'm like, God, I mean, the water.
I'm still,
why is there a flood?
I'm still working on my surprise
before the
for
presence of God. We cannot
Christmas.
say, no, this must not
But
be done because there will be
literally,
a flood
I'm
anymore.
like
We have to come like
almost
children.
on like
And the Lord began to speak to me about the times
very
of Noah. You see, the time of Noah, it wasn't just about a flood. It was that God was bringing purification on the land, and not just on the land, to mankind. Because you see, in the time of Noah, the seed of man began to mix with the seed of angels, and so mankind had become corrupted. It was no longer that when God looked at what they were creating, when God looked at the offspring between man and angels, it was not the intention and the will and desire of God when He said, I will create man in my own image. Because now that image had been tainted. There was a corrupted seed that polluted the intention of God concerning mankind. And so when God looked at the world, He's like, no, we need to purify this thing. Because this is not what I created. The Bible tells us that these angels had come into the women and they were having children. Can you imagine if that continued to mix?
Still on my diet.
And when God will look at us, He's not seeing what He formed. He's seeing this new hybrid of a human being.
I'm meaning
and so it was not just about the flood. The water represented purification. And the Lord began to speak to me that this is about what is happening in this time, about purification.
Hold on.
That I am purifying my bride, that is the church.
Hold on a
I am
second.
cleansing those that will represent me. That when you will represent me with honor. You will not represent me from the place. You see, one of the things, there's a man, I'm just thinking about this right now, a man named David, and you must have heard about him, and if not, read about him.
Oh, no.
David was a man that the Lord said, I have found a man, and he will do all that
I have to get off of
when he sees David and says, this
you
is a man
haven't
after my heart.
subscribed to my channel, please subscribe.
From that place of his heart posture,
Thank you. I will be back in about 20
we talk more
minutes.
about building God's kingdom than we talk to God. And that already reveals that the agenda is not about God. That God becomes what we use to actually build us. And so when God talks about He's purifying our hearts, He's purifying our minds, He's cleansing our hands,